Hello, everybody. Thank you for welcome. Thank you for joining us on today's webinar, Introduction to KASTA. My name is Jarrett Ryan, and I am the KASTA brand manager at Amber Technology in Sydney. From KASTA, we have with us product manager Jeffrey Harris, who works from hi Jeffrey from KASTA's head office in Adelaide, and Sukhwinder Singh. You want to say hello, Sukhwinder?
Hello.
Sukhwinder is the solution delivery manager from KASTA's Sydney office. So welcome, Jeffrey and Sukhwinder. Thanks for hosting this webinar with us. Today's webinar will be recorded for later distribution, so the participant microphones have been muted. Your questions are welcomed, of course. So if you have any questions, please type them into the Q&A panel at the bottom of your Zoom window, and then we'll go through those questions at the end of the presentation. We plan to have this webinar completed in an hour, including the Q&A. So we have a lot to get through. So with that, I will hand over to our presenter, Jeffrey Harris from KASTA, and so he can get cracking. Over to you, Jeffrey.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And just start presentation. Everybody can see my screen okay?
Yep.
Yes.
That's all good, Jeffrey.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So yes, thank you for the opportunity to present to you guys today, just to give you a brief overview of what KASTA is, who we are, how the system works, the products that are offered, some previous projects that we've been involved in, as well as where to find KASTA and how to learn a bit more about us moving forward. So a little bit about us. So we aim to provide simpler and smarter connected solutions designed to enhance the lives of both end users and industry professionals across the built environment sector. We're an Australian founded company, global operations, and establish opportunities across residential and commercial and hospitality sectors. And we've had previous opportunities and installations across New Zealand, Asia, and North Americas, as well as across Australia. Throughout development process, starting in 2016, we've introduced a number of products to hopefully enhance the lives of our customers, and with that being recognised in an award in 2021 with the Lighting Council Smart Automation Award. Just a little bit more about our business. So within business, we have R&D department, software and engineering, as well as product development and management. And we have warehousing across Australia to help support Ambertech with its customers purchasing KASTA. So KASTA, what is it? KASTA does more for you. It's a powerful, smart choice for home and light commercial automation. It's accessible, it's modular, with infinite possibilities. Where KASTA is simple to use and understand, it utilises a straightforward app, wiring is conventional, these sorts of things. It's also, KASTA integrates into your life, so it can seamlessly fit with direct control from the app, from wall switch, and hopefully enhance your lives with better control of your devices in your home or property. KASTA's key benefits is it's simple, so it doesn't require specialists to install, it utilises traditional wiring methods, it's scalable, so you can start with a small project where you may only control one room or one zone of a property, or you could scale to completely control the whole installation. It's seamless, so from the app to the wall switch to voice control, the system is updated immediately and is easy to follow and understand. It's also secure, utilising encryption, and provides industry recognised security confirmation communication protocols. We're also strong in the way that we integrate with globally recognised other control systems, such as RTI. And also, KASTA can save you money, so not requiring proprietary cabling, such as other more traditional bus systems, and can also help to manage energy consumption by some of our devices. 4 key ways to reduce costs with KASTA is, as mentioned, we only use standard existing wiring, so it's good for retrofit solutions, removes the need for infrastructure for new buildings or developments, doesn't require any license to use either, and ongoing maintenance of those devices is heavily sped up by allowing any electrician on site to remove, replace, reprogram as required. It's an intuitive control system of lighting, appliances, curtain blinds, etc. Some of the products that we've developed suit a wide variety of solutions, which include multi-residential, homes, hotels, service departments, commercial buildings, warehousing, gymnasiums, and school halls. Just to summarise there, KASTA provides an additional level of control over existing wiring, existing established electronic devices such as lighting circuits, curtain motors, ceiling fans, etc. Also, we offer a range of products that can be controlled directly, such as KASTA Smart PowerPoint and RGB downlight. Any of these KASTA devices can be controlled via 3 methods, so either controlling via the app, via an onboard switch, or by using voice control. So technology used within the within each KASTA device is the CSR Bluetooth chip. We use those in all of our devices, so compared to other systems which may use a combination of Wi-Fi or Zigbee, ours uses Bluetooth. We've developed these products utilising local skills and with Australian compliance and Australian installation habits in mind. As mentioned, we're an Australian-owned company and all products can be modified, updated due to our customers' feedback in prompt time. Some of our products also have some patents around them just due to necessity in the market for new products that may not have been featured previously. And we have quite high confidence in our products, offering 3-year warranty on all of our smart products. So KASTA, how does it work? As mentioned, we use Bluetooth communication to communicate between our devices. So it's working on the low energy Bluetooth communication protocol. This allows us to have reliable, stable communication between our devices. It's not the same type of Bluetooth that would be used in a Bluetooth headset or speaker as such. It's a stable and reliable multipath messaging protocol. So if a device is being occupied by more than multiple commands, it can be rerouted to the next available device, ensuring that commands make it to the desired device to be controlled with consistency. So then moving forward, just to talk about the how it works within the app. We obviously have a mobile app to control each of our KASTA devices. This app is used for commissioning, programming, sharing, everything. We don't utilise a desktop app at this stage. It's all through the mobile phone or tablet as you wish. All updates are free and as we grow and continue to improve the product and improve the app, you will receive those benefits as we continue along. Between the mobile app and the devices, we use the Bluetooth mesh network. This provides a safe, secure connection for local base control, not relying on a Wi-Fi connection or any other protocol. And with our programming through the app, once a schedule or scene, group, etc. is programmed, the programming lives within the device itself. So if there is no app present, programming can still be controlled directly by onboard switches of those devices. After commissioning a project, it's ideal to share that project to the end user and customer. That's where we would generate a QR code of the mesh network that's been created and upload that to the cloud, or allow the end user to scan the QR code to gain access to that network. I'll just dive a little bit deeper into the app itself. So within the app, we have a few categories of control for our devices. So there is direct device control. So in other words, we can turn a light on and off from this category of the app. For a group, that is referring to if we had multiple devices that we wish to switch off and on with the one command. Can also control a group of mixed devices. So if it was a fan controller, let's say, and a dimming circuit and a relay, it would be the common control between those devices that we can then control. So in that case, it would be on and off. We also have room category. So that allows us to add devices to a room within the home. So you can configure the number of rooms within a property and add those devices to that room. It just gives you an easier way of highlighting and being able to control the devices located within a property. A scene is a single command to a number of devices to perform the same or multiple actions. So that can be a welcome scene, let's say. So you're turning a light circuit on, turning the fan speed to 2 and the power point on. The difference between a scene and a group is the scene cannot be toggled. So if you've made part of your scene to control the fan to fan speed 2, it doesn't know what the opposite of that is. So it will require a second scene in order to turn off those other devices or to another setting that you desire. Also within the app, we have the timer and schedule functions. So timer can be to turn a device on or to turn a device off after a certain period of time. And then scheduling, that can be achieved via a routine of the same day each week or a set date period within a calendar. These slides just show you a little bit more about the app in depth. So on the first few screens there, the yellow icons, that's all the devices that are on that particular mesh network. When they're highlighted yellow, that means the device is on. The second screen there, you can see where they're darker grey, that means the device is off. All these devices can be reordered, renamed, icons changed, and it also allows simple control down the bottom there. You'll see all on, all off. So for a leaving the house scene, let's say you may wish to turn all your devices off. That's possible through the KASTA app. The third screen along, fourth and fifth, shows you editing a device itself. That gives you the ability to adjust settings of that device within the app. So you can, as mentioned, rename, adjust things like the backlight, whether you want it off or on. In the case of an RGB product, you can adjust the color, temperature, have it flashing, strobing, whichever you prefer. And moving on to scene control. So in order to make a scene, you would give it a name, you would choose an icon, you'd add the devices from your network which you want to be a part of that scene. They exist as per the second screen of the app there. So that can include devices or groups within the scene, and that as you add those devices to the scene, you're configuring what status you want them to be in once a scene is activated. And we have group control. So group control, similar process to the scene control, but rather than setting up a status, you're adding devices together, which can then be toggled, whether it's off and on, or if it's, let's say, a group of dimmers, you could then turn the device off and on, as well as dim up and down. And we have a little bit more detail here on the room control that I was mentioning before. So within the app, you can configure, depending on the property, the number of rooms that you have and the types of rooms that you have. And from there, you can take a photo of the room that you are installing into, and then you can add those devices to that room. So within a photo of the app, let's say if the app was running on a tablet within the home, the end user can then easily scroll to find another room that they wish to turn a device off or on, or change fan, curtain open, curtain close, etc. This also shows you a little bit more detail on timers and also schedules, so we can configure different times and different lengths of delay. And once these are configured, these can be turned on and off easily through the app. As mentioned before, we can adjust schedules to be repeating on a day or a date. And again, you can toggle to turn these schedules off and on if you wish to. Okay, so that's a bit about the app. Now we're just moving into the product range that KASTA offers. So just some of the terminology, if you're coming from different control systems, KASTA has a few different ones perhaps to what you're familiar with. So we have mechanisms. So any KASTA device that suits either a KASTA grid and cover or suits a 30 meg attachment, i.e. Clipsal, Saturn, Saturn Zen, Trader, plates, HPM, Legrand X for Life, etc. These mechanisms clip into those plates that are attached onto the wall. And we have module, sometimes referred to as a puck. These devices wire to a momentary mech and then are hidden down the wall cavity, or sometimes can be put into a junction box in the ceiling, etc. And then we also have another category is surface sockets. So sometimes referred to as plug base or 413. These wire into the ceiling space, and we install those at the start of a lighting circuit. Another one you're probably more familiar with is PowerPoint. KASTA has a double GPO or double PowerPoint. Allows us to control devices with 2-pin, 3-pin devices, and can turn those off and on. Also within our range, we have a remote switch device. This device is quite useful in the way that we can control other devices within the system by linking to those, and therefore those buttons have the same function that those devices are linked to. These buttons can also be used to activate a group or a scene. We'll go into that a little bit more later. Then we also have gateways. So gateway connects to a wireless router to the internet, allowing connection to KASTA meshes remotely and allowing us to also achieve voice control via Google and Amazon Alexa. So as mentioned before, KASTA utilises standard wiring practices. So most of the time it's 2-wire, 3-wire connection for most of our devices, allowing us to retrofit into most situations, even situations where it's not easy to run a new cable or channel in the wall cavity, let's say, then we can utilise our battery powered devices, which we'll go into a little bit later. So starting with the first category of products, switching. So our first device here is a relay mech. So that allows us to fit up to 6 mechs into standard grid plate. And this has a maximum load of 1440 watts. Also allows us to switch small motor loads as well. Features 3-wire connection and comes with 2 styles of button caps to suit most 30 mech aperture plates. Next product we have is the KASTA relay module, and that's taking a similar concept to the mechanism, but it's in the format of a module. So in certain applications where mechanism doesn't suit the wall plate that your customers require, we can be utilising these relay modules to wire to a momentary mech. So in the case of, say, a Clipsal Iconic plate or a Hager plate, we can utilise their momentary mechs and wire directly to our module. Sometimes it's also beneficial to have this type of product where you may wish to install into a ceiling pendant in the rows or in junction box in the ceiling. Next product we have is the KASTA surface socket. So this allows us to, this allows us to replace the first socket at a standard lighting circuit run and then convert all those remaining plug bases or surface sockets to have smart control. And so this is quite a useful product, especially for new builds. We have access to ceiling spaces. It is rated at 10 amp and allows the same control as the module in the mech, being able to turn off and on, groups, scenes, schedules, timers, etc. Because this device is hidden in the ceiling space though, in order to control it, you can obviously control it via the app, but most users also will require direct control via a wall plate. And that's where our remote switch devices, which we'll cover a little bit later, come into play, where they wirelessly can link to the surface socket. So moving on from switching, we also have a range of dimming products. So we're taking the similar concept of the relay mechanism and then putting it into a dimmer. This one's 2-wire, so particularly useful for retrofit applications where you don't have access to a neutral down the wall cavity. This type of product can be utilised. Again, fits 1 to 6 in a plate and maximum load 300 watts. Next product is the dimmer module, and that's following, again, similar concept to the relay module, but you're able to dim. These dimmer products are all phase cut trailing edge dimmable. And then we also have a surface socket in a dimmer format as well, allowing us to dim up and down a complete circuit within the maximum 10 amp range. Moving on to our remote control. So some of those devices, such as the surface socket, you need to be able to control that device remotely. That's where a remote switch device comes into play. We also utilise these KASTA remote switch devices to achieve 2-way switching or 2-way dimming. And it's also a very useful product for activating groups or scenes via a wall plate. So the first product we have within our range is a battery powered remote switch device. This allows us to fit up to 3 in a wall plate and utilises 2 CR2032 batteries. So this device can be programmed to activate a group, a scene, a schedule or a timer, as well as direct device control. which it's linked to. Taking that concept a little bit further, we also have a handheld remote. So this is roughly approximate size of say a coffee coaster. It's able to be handheld, so good for coffee tables or side of a fridge. Any of the 5 buttons on there that are capacitive touch operation, you can program to activate a device or group or scene control. Again, utilising 2 CR2032 batteries, are easy to remove and replace. Taking it another step further, situations where customer doesn't want to be replacing batteries at all, or they just require a switch to be installed onto a wall plate and there's access to power, that's where you can utilise this KASTA remote switch device. This allows us again to program to control any other device in the KASTA mesh or group, a scene, scheduled timer. Can fit up to 6 into a plate. And something I should mention there on the diagram to the bottom right there, in order to identify our mechs, we've changed the colours of the bases to try and assist if you're doing retrofit or updates to a KASTA system. You know, the black base is being utilised for dimmers, and the white base is utilised for relays, and the grey for these remote switch devices. Taking the concept even further is our Hesperus push product. So that allows us to utilise one series of connections at a wall plate, but allowing us to have up to 6 buttons that can be programmed to control different functions within the KASTA system. So again, can be utilised to control a device or a group or a scene. They're offered in 1 button, 2 button, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They come in both white and black and feature a glass look appearance with a black shadow line around the edge. This particular product features a proximity sensor, so as you approach the device in the dark, the buttons light up, making it easier to identify which button you wish to select. We also offer button labelling, so in the form of pictograms. So if you've programmed one of the buttons to control a fan, for instance, you can utilise the fan symbol to help your customers identify which button that is controlling. And again, depending on what you've linked it to, it mimics the same function that you can achieve of that device or group. So if it was a link to a dimming socket or a dimming module, you could then one press to turn the circuit on, one press to turn the circuit off, long press to dim up, long press to dim down. Taking a similar concept of the Hesperus push, we've also got the Hesperus touch. Hesperus touch is a capacitive touch switch plate, in that it uses capacitive touch buttons offered in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, and taking it a little bit more premium here with a lot more colour options to suit those higher end homes. And in terms of labelling, rather than the pictograms, this particular product allows for labelling underneath each button. Taking the remote switch concept even further, we have the Hesperus multi-view. This multi-view allows us to have a lot more control over the KASTA system from one switch plate location. So these can often be used in general areas, common areas, where you wish to have multiple control of zones, of devices within that area, etc. Features a LCD monochromatic screen. You can choose English or Chinese, change the font from regular to bold, Any of these buttons are reprogrammable at any time, can be adjusted and configured as per the customer's needs. Also features a proximity sensor, same as the Hesperus push, and again mimics the same control that you have depending on what device you've linked it to. So if it's, again, a dimming circuit, one press to turn the circuit on, one press to turn it off, long press to dim up, long press to dim down. So in situations where we don't interface to a particular competitor's plate, we also have this remote switch module that allows us to have up to 5 momentary mechs connected to that device to control up to 5 scenes or groups or other devices. But it can also be utilised for other inputs, so we can use it as a toggle input. So if we wish to have a PIR sensor, for instance, connected to activate a scene or group within the KASTA system, we can use this device. As the motion is detected, it can activate a welcome scene or something to that effect. This just highlights a little bit deeper as to what I was mentioning there. So this allows us for multi-way as well as scene control. So down the bottom there, we have our dimmer module at the first plate location, controlling that downline. Then we have one of our remote switch input modules, which I was just talking about. That allows us to do 2-way control. And then at the third location there, it allows us to have 3-way control plus another 2 scenes, or up to 5 total. And this here also just details a bit more about our sensor toggle input control. So again, you have a relay module at the wall plate controlling the floodlight there for on-off control, and then you can also utilize this remote switch input to take a signal from the sensor to activate a scene. So taking from lighting control and our remote switch control, we also have a range of RGB lighting products. These products are standard size downlights, so feature a 90mm cutout, 110mm face, allows you to program the color within the app, as well as if you link to one of the remote switches, the number of clicks, you can then configure the color via the remote switch. So if you wish to change the RGB color, you can click 4 times and you long press to cycle through which colors you wish to choose from, and then you push the button again, and then you've confirmed that color selection. It's important to note that this product is RGB with tunable white, so it's an RGB chip plus warm white plus cool white chip, so allowing customers during the day to have standard 3K, 4K, 5K color temperature within the home, and then when an event or something arises where they wish to prefer to have blue or green or cycle through colors, they can choose that within the app or via the remote switch. Similar concept to the downlight, but in this case, we've moved to a strip light kit. The strip light kit and the downlight can be grouped together to achieve same lighting color selection. So if you want blue RGB strip under a kitchen bench, for instance, as well as blue overhead with the RGB downlights, that's achievable by grouping those devices within the app. That can then also be linked to one of these remote switches where you utilize a button to turn off and on or change the color. Features 100mm cut lengths. Total length is 5 meters. And again, you can select between CCT or RGB. Moving on from lighting and lighting control, we have our curtain control module. So This module is suitable for 3-wire and 4-wire installations. It interfaces to a number of major players in the motorised curtain and blind sector. We're suitable for Somfy and Douya motors. Again, this is configurable through the app. You can program and configure depending on the length of the curtain that you're wishing to control. And again, because it's hidden in a module, it's a module hidden in a junction box in the ceiling or close enough to the motor itself, it still requires most likely a remote switch on the wall. And again, you can program within the app for these remote switches to have a single button, so open, pause, close, or you could separate that function onto 3 buttons should the customer wish. 1 button for open, 1 button for pause, 1 button for close. Moving on from the curtain control module, we have the dry contact module. This module helps us to control things like garage doors, motorised gates, this kind of thing. Allows us to toggle on and off control, and again, utilising remote switches for us to control via a wall switch plate, as well as we can control via the app, multi-way switching and so forth. Here just as an example of how you may wire to the garage control motor. So we have the dry contact on the first switch plate, wiring to the controller, and then we have a secondary switch maybe at the other end of the garage to control that dry contact output. And then we may have a third location where we need control, so it may not have a location where we can run power. That's where we use our battery powered remote. And of course, any of the KASTA devices can be controlled directly via the KASTA app should they need. Moving on from there, we have our KASTA fan controller. So this allows us to control AC fans, maximum load of 150 watts. So we can control 3 speeds of the fan as well as the light, if there is such one, to turn off and on, as well as adjust the fan speed. Again, similar to the curtain, you may separate the function onto one of the remote switches to have 1 button to turn the light off and on, another button to control fan speed. You control the fan speed by long pressing, or you may even separate the fan speed control over to 3 buttons, should the customer wish. This fan controller is compatible with a number of more common fans on the market. We have a list of our compatible fans on our website, should you need to refer to later. Then moving on from that, we have our KASTA Smart Power Point. So this allows us to control devices where you may not have access, let's say, to that power point to turn it off and on. It may be maybe a fridge or maybe a Christmas tree, these sorts of things where you can remotely control via the app or via a remote switch. Each socket is individually switchable, so you can program to have one socket scheduled to turn on and off at a different time to the other one. Also features child lock function to prevent unnecessary operation of the PowerPoint. And again, like all our KASTA devices, a remote switch can be linked to it to allow you to control remotely, turn off and on. In situations where your customers may not wish to have the whole home or whole property converted to smart control, we do offer a range of Unison products, which is our standard 240 volt switches and power points. These are offered in 1 to 6 switches, as well as single, double power point with USB, extra switch, etc. So this helps us to maintain uniformity within an installation. And again, once customers are used to KASTA control, perhaps they have more confidence or they just require additional levels of control, then you can come back to retrofit with smart control at a later point. We touched on it earlier. KASTA offers also a range of pictograms which allow customers to easily identify the button function that you have linked through in the app. So there's a range of standard icons that we offer in packs of 10. This is offered for the mechanisms as well as Hesperus push. But for Hesperus touch, as mentioned, we utilise labelling underneath. In situations where the customer prefers not to use Hesperus range of switches and power points, we also interface to other people's range of plate series. So included in our mechanism devices, we include Clipsal style 30 mech cap, as well as a HPM sort of squarer cap. In addition to that, in packs of 10, we also offer Allegran XL Life adapter cap, as well as Clipsal Satin and Clipsal Satin Zen adapter cap. So these caps just easily remove from the top of the mech, then you replace with the desired cap that you need, and then you clip the mech into place as required. Okay, so in situations where you may have customers wanting to control their devices remotely, or they may wish to use voice control for the KASTA system, they can utilise this KASTA Cloud Connect gateway. This gateway is not required if only local device control is required. It's only in those situations where they require remote access or voice control. So it allows us to control devices, as mentioned, remotely, as well as utilising with Google and Amazon Alexa voice commands. Here we have just a simple overview of the architecture of how the gateway works. So we have our Bluetooth KASTA devices. They talk Bluetooth to the Cloud Connect gateway, and the gateway talks to the Wi-Fi router over to, and then up to the cloud and via the app. In addition to that, we also have our KASTA Plexi gateway. This doesn't incorporate the functionality of the KASTA Cloud Connect gateway. It's an optional additional device. This is a device that's required where you wish to interface to a third-party control system, such as Crestron Home or Control 4, RTI Kramer, this kind of thing. This allows us to control third-party systems to have control of KASTA devices. And again, this is another simple overview, just showing how the system works. The KASTA system talks Bluetooth to the gateway, then connected via Ethernet connection to your Wi-Fi router, and then either via Ethernet or Wi-Fi connection to the third-party control system. For the drivers that we've developed to coincide with the Plexi gateway, they're available for free download on the KASTA website, so featuring Control 4, Crestron Home, Kramer and RTI. And a little bit about the API. So it's obviously free to download, utilise IP-based communications, gives us bidirectional control and feedback via a local API, and allows us to control all of the devices within the KASTA mesh system. Let's move on to a few application examples here. So quite often KASTA can be utilised where you just need to add another control for two-way or three-way switching. That's quite handy for retrofit solutions. So In this case here, we have a dimmer mech that's controlling the downlight, and then from other locations on the other side of the room or in another zone area, you can utilize a remote switch to control that dimmer directly. So those 1BMBH products can then mimic the same control as the dimmer, long press to dim up, long press to dim down, etc. As well as we can always control via the KASTA app. And so just to reinforce again, because it's a remote switch, we can also swap out the remote switch mechanism to use a Hesperus push instead if we wish, or we could also use a Hesperus touch if we wish as well, or the multi-view. Just another example of going a little bit more in depth on the fan controller here. So fan control module gets installed into the ceiling rows, gives us direct control of the light or fan if we wish by a momentary mechanism on a wall plate. Then if you require from a secondary location or third location, you can utilize remote switch mechanisms. Again, it could be mains powered, it could be battery powered, depending on where you're needing to install those devices. Just go through a couple of recent projects that we've had KASTA utilised in. So we've been utilised in apartment developments where they've required lighting control and curtain control. And these particular developers are looking for smart control, looking for an edge over other developments to attract buyers. This is where KASTA comes into its own, where it's not requiring proprietary cabling. It's fairly simple to install. Contractors that were used on the project are easy to learn the system and how to program and configure the devices. You have another example where KASTA wasn't necessarily utilised because of its automation abilities. It was more as a workaround to solve a challenge where initially the design of the theatre was to allow control of the overhead lights, the general lighting from one location. But in actual fact, in practice, the teachers and students were utilising the access point down the bottom of the stairs there. And that's where being able to two-way switch from multiple locations without running cabling through a concrete wall was beneficial. KASTA has also been utilised within accommodation development. So we've been utilised in WH Hotel in Ribbon. This is quite a large development utilising Hesperus Touch and our surface sockets, also allowing us to interface into the hotel management system there. KASTA can also be utilised in other areas, perhaps not associated with home automation. Obviously, can also be utilised in commercial applications, such as conference centres, theatres, and the like. This recent development last year was done down in Geelong. It was a new development where KASTA lighting control and curtain controls were utilised. If you're not close to any of those particular projects, we also have a display suite in New South Wales, which is fitted out with KASTA. You can contact Ambertech to arrange a appointment if you wish to have a walkthrough, but this features a mock-up of a real apartment with KASTA control, utilising lighting control, fan control, power, curtain, as well as our interface with RTI control, and also some other Ambertech products, including audio distribution, Sonos speakers. In order to help support our customers if they require additional support when first getting their hands on KASTA, we also have some marketing documents, so brochures to show your end customers, flyers to help promote as necessary, data sheets for projects where specifications have to be written, user guides on assisting contractors on how to wire and install the products. In addition to that, we also have our Hesperus design configurator. So you can probably check this out a little bit later if you wish on our website, but it allows you to select the color plate that you wish, add the labels that you wish, change the color, the background, etc. It's quite a handy tool in order to help. Sorry.
Hey, Jeffrey, it's Jared here. If you got a moment, we can have a look at that live. Is that possible?
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yep, that's it. We can see it.
Okay, so as mentioned, we can select whether it's a vertical plate or horizontal plate. We can choose which color we wish the plate to be. Then I can choose the number of buttons that I require, and then come in here and type in whatever description I need within the limit. And I can change the background to see what it looks like, as well as when doing designs, we can add how many of those plates that are required and then give it a name as well.
Thanks, Jeffrey.
No problem. And then once completed, then you can also download the PDF for later use, especially if it's for a project where you may need to submit for confirmation from them. There you go, as an example. Okay. Where were we? In addition to that, on our website, we also have a number of case studies. So as we go along our journey and we are getting our hands on more and more diverse projects, you'll be seeing those come through both on the website and on our social media platform. Also, in addition to that, we also have our KASTA Learn training platform, which allows us to educate our customers on how to use KASTA best and applications, general information on programming and features that are available through the KASTA range of products. So as we go along and continue to expand this, once registered, our customers receive emails notifying them of new courses and modules that are available for them to learn and grow. So just a brief overview there, and it shows you how to install the app, let's say, set up an account, how to add a schedule, these sorts of things. So at the end of every module, there's also a quiz. It's not like you've only got a limited amount of attempts or anything like that. It allows multiple tries. So, and the course can be completed as you have time. There's no set time limit as to when you need to finish. You can start, come back as you have time. In addition to that, as we go along, once you've completed a certain amount of modules, the silver module will also offer a training case, or should I say demonstration case, which is for free. So once you've completed that level of training, we provide a functional training case, so you can program, play around with the devices. It's really quite a straightforward system to use, and just having that practical play around also really helps, I think, gaining a better understanding of how KASTA operates. So you can look out for that. In addition to that, if you need to perhaps see KASTA a bit more in person, if it's not in a display suite or one of the projects we've installed, we also have our KASTA showrooms in Brisbane as well as in Adelaide. It features functional rooms and samples to touch and feel. Just going back to, I guess, our socials as well. We also have a YouTube channel. On the YouTube channel, you can review promotional videos if you wish to show to your customers. There's also how-to videos on installing and wiring, programming, that sort of thing, as well as just overviews from expos, that kind of thing that we visited. So be sure to check that out as well. We also have KASTA Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn profiles. So be sure to follow those to keep up to date with all things happening in KASTA. In addition to that, we also have some demonstration cases, point of sale devices, which are able to be purchased through Ambertech. So in order to help you guys with your showrooms or taking samples to site to show to clients, we have sample cases and operational demo cases, as well as things like counter displays. In addition to our own website and socials, obviously Ambertech's our distributor, so we also have our products featured on their website. So if you need to know more or check a product code or inquire about pricing, that's the place to go to find out more. So just in summary, KASTA Technologies and the KASTA system is a smart home automation system, also utilised in light commercial applications. Utilises a reliable Bluetooth mesh as its main protocol. We offer a wide range of feature packed devices. We utilise one simple app for adding, commissioning, programming and operation of the system, being specified in major projects across Australia, and we're Australian owned for local R&D, warehousing and support. That summarises everything I wish to carry out today, but hopefully you took something from it, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Amazing job, Jeffrey. It's a really comprehensive presentation, and I can no doubt that those who aren't familiar with KASTA can see the versatility in the product range and the app and the capabilities, as well as the local support. It's a big that's a big factor, being an Australian company, Australian designed and supported. So with that, I think we'll wrap up. We've gone a little bit over, but we had a lot of questions, which was really good, and we've had amazing attendance today. So Jeffrey, thank you so much for putting this presentation together and hosting this for us. It'd be nice to perhaps host some more of these in the future. Thank you everyone for taking time out of your day and attending this. I hope you got a lot out of it, and look forward to working with you all. And have a great day.